Hey guys, it's Pastor Rachel. I'm doing today's Daily Soap, and we are looking at Job 35 and 36. In these two chapters, we are still listening to Elihu address Job and his situation. And to put it lightly, Elihu was a jerk. He ripped into Job, and he came from this super prideful place, just kind of assuming that he understands everything there is to know about God, and clearly if Job is suffering, it's because he is sinful, because that's how God works. So Job needs to stop complaining and address his sin problem. It was messy and it was ugly, and I wish someone would have said to Elihu before he started talking, hey man, your response to this situation will end up in scripture and be read 2,000 years from now, so think about what you're going to say. But I don't think that conversation happened, and the most concerning part is Elihu says, I have something to say on the Lord's behalf. And if you have grown up in the church, I'm sure you can relate. I can name several times where someone was speaking for the Lord to me and just completely missed the mark, was not relevant. They heard from the Lord wrong. And that's a scary place to be. And I appreciate the boldness of people being willing to take the risk and say what they feel like God is asking them to say. But we have to operate in the right parameters if we're going to do that. Not if, but when we do that. The first thing is we have to always filter those words from the Lord through the idea of, is this just for me? Oftentimes, God speaks to me about me. He doesn't speak to me about Pastor Ben or about anyone else or friends or family or siblings. He speaks to me about me. And not to say he never speaks to me about other people or situations, but more often than not, he addresses my own sinfulness and invites me to deal with it with him. So that's the first thing we have to consider. Is this for me? Not for me to post on Facebook hoping someone else will see it. The next thing is we have to listen to God about a situation before we speak for God about a situation. We have to listen. The issue with Elihu was he came from the approach of understanding how God works, thinking that he understood how God works, and then started speaking on his behalf, when in reality, we will never fully understand how God works. So anytime we are speaking on his behalf, we have to listen to him about the situation. He did not know what was going on with Job and why Job was suffering. And if he would have taken time to ask God how he should respond to Job before he responded, it probably would have looked different. So when we speak for God, let's try listening to him first, and actually intimately listening to what he has to say about a specific thing before we assume we know what he would say. Assuming we know what he would say can set us up to follow Elihu's example and basically crush someone with our words for the sake of the Lord. And I would hate for us to be in that boat and being people who respond that way to people. And yeah, I just sincerely hope that that's not us, that we're not the people crushing people for the Lord. So yeah, understand that it's probably for you, and make sure you listen to God specifically about situations. And I would just encourage you, generally speaking, you don't always have to lead with God said this, or the Lord is doing this, or the Lord told me to tell you this. You can just have a conversation and trust that God is at work, and that because he is the source of authority and because you are listening to him intimately, that you have the authority to say what you're saying. That is my deepest hope for you guys, is that we actually operate in the authority that God has given us, and we don't have to demand that we have authority by saying God said this or God said that. So yeah, understand that it might just be for you. Make sure you're listening to God about the specific situation, and be confident that you have authority and you don't have to fight for authority or demand authority. Just know that if God has asked you to share something, that he is going to help you share it. But you have to actually let him help you share it. That's all I've got for you guys. You're cool. I love you. Speak for the Lord, but do it well and do it in a way that honors him and advances his mission. And I think that's it. Bye.